The day started like any other, with the sun rising over the peaceful rural landscape. The countryside was tranquil, and the morning seemed to promise nothing but routine, until a frantic call from Monty shattered the calm. His voice was filled with urgency, breaking the serene morning with a sense of impending doom. His voice was panicked, describing something impossible near the old mill, a mother cow in danger, attacked by a monstrous centipede. The details were so bizarre it was hard to believe. The dispatcher tried to get details, but Monty's fear was unmistakable. His words painted a picture of chaos and terror that was hard to ignore. The rescue team listened, exchanging uneasy glances. We'd heard wild stories before, but this was different. The urgency in Monty's voice was palpable, and it demanded immediate action. Monty insisted it was real, a giant centipede wrapped around his cow, the calf hiding nearby. The image was surreal, almost like something out of a nightmare. The urgency was clear. We grabbed our gear, nets, poles, medical kits, and high-pressure foam canisters. Every second counted, and we had to be prepared for anything. As we sped toward the mill, questions raced through our minds. Was this a prank, an illusion, or something truly unknown? The tension in the vehicle was thick, each of us lost in our thoughts. The dispatcher relayed updates. The calf was watching, terrified. This was about more than one animal. It was a family in distress. The stakes were higher than we initially thought. The drive felt endless, tension mounting with every mile. Each passing moment seemed to stretch into eternity as we neared the old mill. What were we about to face? Our training prepared us for the unexpected, but this was beyond anything we'd imagined. The unknown loomed large, and we had to be ready for whatever came next. The old mill appeared on the horizon, silent and foreboding. It stood as a stark contrast to the peaceful morning, a harbinger of the unknown challenge ahead. We braced ourselves for whatever waited in the clearing. The air was thick with anticipation, and every sense was heightened. This was no ordinary rescue. The stakes were higher, the danger more real, and the outcome uncertain. We were about to confront the unbelievable. The moment of truth was upon us, and there was no turning back. We arrived at the farmhouse just as the first rays of sunlight crept over the horizon, painting the old wooden boards in gold. The air was crisp, filled with the earthy scent of dew and distant hay. The gravel crunched beneath our boots as we stepped out, hearts pounding with anticipation for what lay ahead. We were greeted by a frantic Monty, the farm's loyal border collie, barking and darting back and forth at the edge of the yard. His eyes were wide with urgency as he pointed us toward the dense trees beyond the fence, his whole body trembling with anxiety. "Through there! Hurry!" he seemed to say, and a farmhand echoed the sentiment, waving us forward with a sense of desperation. The urgency in their voices left no room for hesitation. We grabbed our gear, backpacks, ropes, tranquilizer kits, moving quickly through a field of wildflowers. The peaceful scent of blossoms clashed with the adrenaline surging through us, a surreal contrast to the emergency unfolding just beyond the tree line. Breaking through the tree line, we stumbled into a scene that stopped us cold. A mother cow, frozen in terror, her eyes wide and unblinking, and a centipede of impossible size coiled around her midsection. The creature's presence was both alien and horrifying. Its body was thick as a tree trunk, armored in glossy segments, and hundreds of yellow legs gripped the cow with a strength that seemed unbreakable. The centipede's antennae flicked in the air, sensing our arrival. The team leader, Alex, immediately took charge, his voice steady despite the chaos. "Hold positions. We need a plan," he ordered, scanning the scene for any sign of weakness in the creature's grip. We formed a semicircle around the clearing, keeping our distance but ready to act. Each of us exchanged nervous glances, aware that one wrong move could spell disaster for both the cow and ourselves. Safety was our top priority. Rushing in blindly could make things far worse. We steadied our breathing, waiting for Alex's signal, every second stretching out painfully. Dr. Aris, our biologist, crept closer, eyes fixed on the centipede. "It's not constricting like a snake," she whispered, analyzing its behavior. "It's holding on, maybe searching for a place to bite, but it's not feeding yet. We might have a window." The vet tech readied a sedative rifle, hands steady despite the tension. The plan was to calm the cow first, hoping it would buy us precious seconds to act. The rest of us prepared capture gear, nets, poles, and makeshift barriers, our minds racing for a way to separate the two without causing harm. Every tool was double-checked, every movement deliberate. The clearing was eerily silent, the usual chorus of birds and insects replaced by a heavy, expectant hush. Tension hung thick in the air, every member of the team acutely aware of the stakes. This was a rescue like no other, an encounter with the unknown, demanding every ounce of courage and skill we possessed. Every move had to count. The clock was ticking, and the fate of both the cow and the creature rested in our hands. The only sound was the centipede's legs clicking against the cow's hide. The cow was paralyzed with fear, her calf trembling nearby. Alex called a quick huddle. Brute force was out. Our poles couldn't budge the creature. Mike and Chloe tried to pry it off, but the centipede's grip was unbreakable. Its body was like living steel, our tools useless. Every attempt only made it tighten its hold. We realized physical force would exhaust the cow and risk injury. We needed a new strategy, one that would make the centipede let go on its own. The cow's strength was fading fast. Time was running out. We regrouped, determined to find another way. The situation was dire, but we couldn't give up. The team's resolve hardened. We had to outthink the monster. The next move had to work. With brute force ruled out, Dr. Aris proposed a new approach, a chemical deterrent, specifically CO2. The idea was to use the freezing properties of carbon dioxide to disrupt the centipede's grip, hoping that a sudden blast of cold would be enough to make it let go. A blast of cold, we reasoned, might shock the centipede into releasing its hold on the cow, even if only for a moment. It was a long shot, but we were running out of options. We scrambled to gather CO2 extinguishers from every corner of the facility, quickly briefing the team on the plan. The goal was a coordinated strike, targeting the creature's head and front segments where its grip seemed strongest. The team moved into position, each member acutely aware of the risk. We had to be careful not to harm the cow, whose breathing was already labored from the centipede's crushing hold. On Alex's signal, we unleashed the freezing gas in a synchronized burst, aiming directly at the centipede's armored head and thorax. A thick, swirling white cloud enveloped the centipede, obscuring it from view. For a tense moment we waited, hoping for any sign of movement or release. But as the vapor cleared, it became painfully obvious the creature barely reacted. Its exoskeleton was simply too thick, the cold little more than a minor irritation. CO2 is a no-go, Alex said, frustration clear in his voice. The plan had failed, and the sense of urgency in the air grew heavier. The cow was weakening fast, its eyes dull and body trembling. We were running out of time, and our options were dwindling with every passing second. The pressure mounted, every failed attempt increased the risk, and the team could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down. Without hesitation, Alex made the call. Get the foam team ready, now. There was no time to debate, we had to act. Plan D was our last resort, a high-risk maneuver that could either save the cow or make things worse. It was extreme, but at this point the cow's life depended on it. We couldn't afford to hesitate. The team moved with urgency, adrenaline fueling every step as we prepared the foam sprayers for immediate deployment. This was our final shot, the culmination of all our efforts and planning. Everything hinged on the next few minutes. The outcome would determine not just the cow's fate, but the success of the entire operation. We steadied our nerves and prepared for the foam offensive, knowing this was our last and only chance to save a life. Plan D meant deploying specialized sticky foam, messy but effective. The foam team grabbed canisters and hoses ready to cover the centipede from tail to head. The goal: make its body slippery and block its sensory organs, forcing it to release the cow. Alex's command was clear. Aim for the creature only. Avoid the cow's head. Tension peaked as the team took aim. Execute! Alex ordered. Foam blasted across the clearing, coating the centipede in thick white bubbles. The creature writhed, legs flailing, but the foam kept coming. Within seconds it was completely encased. Then finally its grip loosened. The cow staggered free as the centipede slid off, landing on the grass with a wet thud. Relief swept through the team. The immediate danger was over. The cow was safe, for now. But the giant centipede was still a threat. We had to act fast to secure it. The rescue was only half finished. As the centipede hit the ground, the team sprang into action. Medics rushed to the cow. The capture team moved in on the foam-covered creature. It thrashed blindly, but the foam slowed it down. 2 groups of 3 surrounded it, casting heavy-duty nets over head and tail. The nets tangled its legs, restricting movement. More nets layered over its midsection, creating an inescapable web. The team worked in perfect sync, communicating with hand signals. Within a minute, the centipede was subdued, a writhing, foam-covered mass under the nets. The immediate threat was contained. Now we could focus on the cow's recovery. The operation had demanded flawless teamwork. The hardest part was over. But the story wasn't finished yet. With the centipede secured, Maria, our vet tech, rushed to the cow. The animal was trembling but alive. Maria checked for injuries. No punctures, no serious wounds. The foam had protected her from abrasions. The cow was exhausted, suffering from shock and muscle fatigue. Maria administered a sedative and anti-inflammatories, then gave her fluids. The cow slowly stood, taking a long drink of water. Her calf emerged, nuzzling her and beginning to nurse, a sign of hope. Monty approached, overwhelmed with relief and gratitude. "I thought I'd lost her," he said, voice shaking. We assured him she'd recover with rest. Seeing the cow reunited with her calf was our greatest reward. The rescue had succeeded. With the cow safe, attention turned to the giant centipede. There was no protocol for a creature like this. Dr. Aris, awestruck, carefully rinsed the foam away, revealing its iridescent exoskeleton. He took samples for analysis. This was a scientific marvel. The next challenge? Transport. We called in a specialized vehicle with a climate-controlled container. Using a portable crane, we gently lifted the netted centipede into its new enclosure, lined with soil and leaf litter. The operation was slow and careful, ensuring the creature's safety. As the transport truck departed, awe settled over the team. We'd saved a life and made a discovery that could change science. The centipede wasn't a monster, just an animal out of place. Our job was to protect all life, no matter how strange. The mission was a complete success. We'd faced the impossible and won. As the sun set, the clearing was quiet again. The cow and her calf headed home, Monty at their side. We packed up, reflecting on the day's events. This wasn't just about daring rescues or strange creatures. It was about valuing every life, familiar or unknown. Our team's success came from trust, adaptability, and compassion. We saved the cow, but also treated the centipede with care. Empathy for all creatures is the heart of animal welfare. Every animal, no matter how strange, deserves respect. This story reminds us to meet the unknown with curiosity, not fear. Compassion is our greatest strength. It connects us to the animals we protect, and it inspires us to face any challenge together.